Hello, BZPower. This is Zatth, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Staff, the show where this fool right here with the really bad facial hair interviews other members of the staff, some of which, like the face on the other side, also has some facial hair, but much better than mine. Now, they're not going to be defined only by their facial hair, but they're going to be defined by their beautiful personality, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So, guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
You started with where this fool right here, I totally thought you were going to go with interviews other fools.
Oh, no, come on, I'm the only fool here. I'm a fool on the hill. What?
Hi, I'm Takuma Nuva.
Awesome, and what do you do on the BZPower?
I'm supposed to do something?
No.
I mean, I'm a blog assistant.
The members aren't supposed to know.
It's actually funny that you bring up facial hair, because I actually have an interesting story.
Oh.
Maybe we should get underway before I launch into that.
Yes, but do remind me to get to that story at some point, because I would love to hear some stories. After all,
Just
that is
remember, facial hair.
Oh, trust me, it's not going away. I believe that we can face it together. I'm gonna need somebody to start keeping a counter of all the really bad jokes that Zatth says to get Takuma to leave. I was saying I'm hoping somebody puts up a counter to start counting the really bad jokes that make Takuma leave because Zatth... That's, boom, one. Okay, so we're gonna, without further ado and tangents, or tangerines, we're gonna go to the first question from the show, a staple of the show, not staples like the store or like the utility thing, but like a metaphorical staple, although I don't think that's a metaphor.
It's not gonna be that easy?
That was easy. Very good. 10 out of 10, would reference again. So the question is, awesome sauce, cool beans, Neato burrito, or chilled legumes? Thinking.
Cool beans.
Cool beans? Any specific reason why?
Yes, because you remember the last time do we want to mention last time?
Yeah, I should probably explain it. I have to be humble for the members. Go ahead, explain the answer to cool beans, and then I'll explain what we're teasing at.
Anyways, so, story goes, I don't even remember how it got started.
Okay.
But, this is something I did with one of my sisters.
Okay.
Where, I don't know, it's got to do with the fact that she's a girl, I'm a guy.
Right.
Girls have higher voices, guys have lower voices.
Right.
So one of the amusing things that we found out was that she sounded ridiculous trying to go with a low voice, and I sounded ridiculous trying to go with a high voice.
Right.
And for whatever reason, we would do this using the phrases hot beans or cool beans or cold beans, one of the two.
Okay.
So she would try to be going low, so she'd be like, cool beans, and she just couldn't do it. Whereas I would be going with the high voice and trying to say hot beans, but I can only get so high, so it's not like high pitch, it just comes up. Let me see if I can do it.
Okay.
Hot beans! Hot beans!
Wow,
Sorry, I can go hot beans!
That face that you just did there, I hope somebody takes a screen cap of that.
It's gonna be some sort of reaction. It'll be my second one.
We wouldn't have it any other way, though.
So yeah, I go with cool beans for that reason.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, so cool beans is your answer. Now we're going to touch on what you were referring to earlier. You probably remember that this is supposed to be a February episode, and we did indeed film the... yeah, he's laughing because he knows what happened. We did indeed.
I'm laughing because the same thing happened to me during a Rock Raiders series.
More than once, though, so...
Once.
So basically, we recorded the footage, and it all was great and fantastic, and I was going to go to edit, and then I found out that I did not record my audio. So... we had Takuma's audio and footage from all of his, but not the questions. So it would have been kind of like Jeopardy, but without any understanding of what was going on.
It would be like Jeopardy if everyone was completely lost.
Hey, wait, isn't that how it works normally? Alex, what am I doing here? Okay.
Like, no, I asked a question. I give the...
I asked...
Now I threw it all off. Let's just move on.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, like, we were just confusing people more. But yeah, long story short, Zatth needed to be taught to be humble by the universe, so he had to reschedule with Takuma, and we all had life stuff going on. Tournaments, hospitalization, work, family, life, the universe, and everything 42. And finally, we found a time when we could actually schedule the meeting, which is right now. So the episode is going to be for March, because apologies from this person right here. With that being said, we're going to continue then with questions. Takuma! Tell us about your life as a LEGO fan. How did it begin?
Began last month while I was building Skull Grinder and Ikimu. Something which none of you will get to see.
Yeah, that was the set that we were gonna build and talk about, and then I made my mistake. So apologies for that.
So now he's up in my bedroom somewhere because I didn't want to pull him apart and build the same thing twice.
But Takuma, he's a spooky, scary skeleton. Do you really want him hanging around there?
I mean, he's under my bed.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's where the monsters go. Yeah.
But do not worry, for I had a new set coming today.
Solid.
Today we are going to be building. I hope you're ready for the long haul. Today we are building the Ultimate Collector's Edition Millennium Falcon. No, it's Kopaka and totally not Melum.
Okay, so.
Real creative with the names there.
I know, right? It's just like, man, we can change one letter and they'll never know. Okay, so while we're building that set, tell us about your life as a LEGO fan, Takuma.
So it all started way back in the day when I was a wee wait a minute. Way back in the day when I was a wee tyke. Back in my day we didn't have Lego. I mean, other people did, but I didn't. We had Duplos. And Duplos are a blast.
I thought they were blocks.
Yeah, not the way we played with them. But no, so Duplo is like Lego, just bigger, but still fun because then you can build bigger things.
Right.
And my sister and I used to, sisters and I used to build houses and play around. And our favorite thing was definitely the dinosaurs.
Okay.
I always had, the dinosaurs are the greatest. I always played with the little blue baby Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
Oh, baby.
One of my sisters always had, like, the green Triceratops, and another one always had, like, the red pterodactyls, pteranodons, whatever the heck they are.
Right.
Yeah, we have, like, you know those big Rubbermaid totes? We got, like, 2 of those just full of Duplo.
Okay, that's pretty sick, though. That's a good collection to start off with.
And it's like, we'd be playing with them, and my mom would be like, you gotta clean them up now. It's like, but Mom, I spent all day building this, and it's not gonna fit back in the tub in one piece.
Yep.
So, our mother, generous woman that she is, would sometimes let us keep them built, as long as we pushed them kind of off to the side, and they weren't in the middle of the floor.
Right.
Other times, we had to clean them up.
Well, you know, as parents like us to do.
Yeah. But, as for actual Lego, I think my first set was actually some sort of cheap McDonald's Happy Meal thing.
Yep.
That was my first actual Lego set. The first, like, if you want to call it a legit Lego set that wasn't in a Happy Meal, I believe it was it was an Arctic set.
Okay.
Way back when Arctic was all orange.
Oh, transparent orange chainsaws.
Yep. This set didn't come with transparent those things. It was I don't remember what exactly it was called, so I'm just gonna say it was the little snowmobile one.
Okay.
Or was it was it that, or was it? It might have been the. What was the one that had like the sail on it? You know which one I'm talking about?
I think I remember it. Yeah.
It was kind of a longish thing.
Yeah.
And like a ski in front and 2 skis in back, and it had like a big like sailboat sail.
Yeah, and it had the ball and socket joints in the center, like you're showing. Sorry, that's mean.
Actually, it did have a ball and socket joint somewhere on there. I just forget what it was for. Oh yeah, that was what held the sail up.
Oh, there we go.
So I don't remember. It might have just been called Ice Sailor or Ice Surfer or Polar Sailor.
Sounds about right for '90s Lego.
One of those was my first Lego set.
Okay.
So from there, I got a few of them. I was really into dinosaurs, as any like decent human being of my age would be.
Right.
And so I got I got the Island Hopper for Christmas or birthday once.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. I also got a few of the Life on Mars sets. To this day, even though I didn't have the money or any real means to do it, I am still super disappointed that I didn't collect more of the Life on Mars sets.
Yeah.
Because that, alongside Rock Raiders, was like my two favorite system themes ever.
Yeah. Agreed.
But 2000/2001 came along, and Bonkles.
Bonkles!
Bonkles.
Barnacles!
I remember looking at the back of that first Lego magazine and thinking, oh, I get it. When the little guy puts on the mask of power, he becomes the big guy.
Haha!
That's totally the way Bionicle worked.
That's definitely the way that it's supposed to be.
I mean, it worked for Takuma.
Yeah.
3 years later.
Yeah.
But, well, Takuma wasn't a Turaga, though.
Yeah, true. Wait, no. Oh, no. He didn't become a Turaga in the alternate universe, right? Remember
I
what?
don't think so.
When no, because that was Takuma Nuva was traveling through the alternate universes.
Yeah. I
Right?
remember there was one where... Wasn't there one where they all were living outside of the Matanui robot after it...
Yeah, and that was like
Toa.
Toa Tanma, and that was where Motaro never saved the universe.
But Takuma Nuva was still Toa, even though he was taking on kind of a
Yeah.
Toraga-esque role.
Yeah.
I really need to go back and read those. I need to finish collecting the books for them. Man.
Oh, yeah, no, I feel definitely. That's a great thing about Bionicle, that there's so much material just kind of out there.
And now it's all non-canon.
Haha, all of it.
It's irrelevant, more or less, now.
It's like Star Wars. What?
At least it's 99. Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah, no, I know.
Rest in peace, my hopes and dreams of more KOTOR stuff.
So, now we did touch on Bionicle, though, so let's talk a little bit about Bunkonkle.
Bunkonkle?
That's another one that I'm sure people have not heard yet. How did you get started as a Bionicle fan?
I mean, I saw the magazine and that first comic, and I said, dude, why is this only now coming into my 11-year-old life?
So you were hooked from the get-go like that?
Oh, I was hooked from the get-go. I mean, never had anything like a comic book or whatever. Now I was getting a free comic book every 2 months.
Right. So,
I mean,
does that mean that it was the comics themselves? Was it the drawings, the story, the sets? What exactly drew you into Bionicle in the first place?
Definitely, I've always been one for story and the imaginative sides of things. I mean, yeah, the actual masks, I mean, they're just plastic. They don't actually do anything.
Right.
But the thought of like, oh, this one gives you like strength, and this one gives you speed, and so that was always really cool to me. I liked the universe, and obviously the story really drew me in as well. And even towards the end of the original generation, the original run of Bionicle, when I wasn't really buying sets much, I still really liked the story.
Yeah.
Although the story itself also kind of teetered off towards the end there. But the story is number one for me.
Right. So it was a combination of the mythos and the sets themselves.
Yeah, like, if it wasn't for the story, I would not care about these. I would not care about buying the sets because I wouldn't be invested in the characters.
Right. So you'd say that story is a pretty important part then?
It is very important.
Cool. So that's going to tie into, obviously, something that we're going to get into later, but might as well tease it now with actually a question that we got on Twitter. So it finally happened. I know! We have one! We've got one! This
planning, or lack thereof, for the win.
Woo! This question comes from Rooster Nui. Thank you, Rooster Nui, for that question. This question, Takuma Nuva, what's it like being a head honcho on 2 different Bionicle fan sites? And you can give some context for those who might not know if you want.
So, yeah, I mean, I imagine the first people that are going to see this are going to be the BZP people. And, yeah, I mean, on the BZPower side of things, where it's more of the... Let me take a step back. On BZPower, my position is blog assistant. I almost said blog master, because, you know, evil blog master.
Evil blog master who causes disasters.
Which only BZP people would know. And then on the other side of things, I'm on the TTV podcast as a cast member. I'm also pretty much their main web developer.
Okay.
And some other little projects that we have not spoke of yet.
Uh-huh.
And it's very interesting because you almost feel like the Avatar. Like the bridge between the worlds.
Wow, I like that.
BZP, TTV, which one's the physical world, which one's the spirit world, I'm not even going to try and figure out. but it's very interesting to be on both sides of it.
Yeah.
On the one hand, BZP
Mm-hmm.
is very much discussion and forums based with some of the things like the YouTube and stuff, and it's cool, but that's more like the sideshow, you might say.
Right.
TTV is the complete opposite of that. It's
Right.
primarily entertainment show
Right.
with a community and discussion thing on the
Mhm.
side. And it's very interesting to see the differences that there are between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost kind of funny because TTV, especially, it was slow, and the rest of the guys did a great job keeping it going during
Yeah.
the down years of Bionicle. But then with Bionicle coming back,
Mhm.
got this huge boost of popularity, for lack of a better word.
Right.
I can't think of what I want right now. And it's actually funny to see TTV grow now
Yeah.
that Bionicle is a thing again, and actually see these things where it's like, okay, we don't want to do this like BZP, and then going along, it's like, okay, you know what, this actually makes sense what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to see it start anew.
Right. The little like things here and there that make it go as it does.
The minute details that
Yeah.
say, okay, this is how you need to run an online community.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk a little bit more, obviously, about your place on TTV because it's very interesting to me, especially as a Lego fan and as a what you were talking about earlier about how you were drawn into Bionicle. But before we do that, we're gonna touch on BZP a little bit. So, how did you get started on BZPower?
So, BZPower, it wasn't like a lot of people where it's like, oh, I was lurking for years and finally just decided to make an account so I could actually talk to people.
Right.
It started back in the day when I was looking to finish my Takuma Nuva collection.
Uh-huh.
I'm focusing so much on the discussion, I hope I'm building this right.
It'll just be like, why is his head on his foot?
It'll be like reviving Bionicle when Kohatu tried to rebuild Onua. If you watch that.
Yeah, if you consider that canon.
If anyone's not familiar with reviving Bionicle, think Arby and the Chief, but with far less vulgarity and such, and a lot more bonkles.
Bonkles?
It's actually pretty funny.
That sounds pretty great.
Getting back to the question, I actually have a very important question for you.
Okay.
What was the question?
Aha. How did you get started on BZP?
Right. So, back in the day, I was trying to finish my Takuma Nuva collection, and the only one that was, so to speak, missing. I didn't have all of them yet.
Right.
But I already knew that I was going to be getting some for like Christmas, birthday, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the only one I really had to worry about was Gali Nuva.
Right.
So I was doing a search for Gali Nuva, trying to figure out, where I can buy this. And
right.
This was like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
So years after the set was released, not really available in stores. And put that together. Oh, I put those down too early. Anyways, I was doing a search for Gali Nuva.
Yeah.
And one of the results that came up was just a piece of artwork.
Okay.
Humanized Gali.
Okay.
And it was on BZPower.
Right.
For some reason, completely forgot about that until, like 2 years later, 2007, and I was like, I remember that piece of artwork. And for some reason, that weird name, BZPower, has stuck in my mind over the years. Don't know why. And I was like, I wonder if I could find that again.
Right.
Just to see that piece of artwork again. Went looking for it, never found it, but I did find BZPower that way.
Sounds about right for BZP.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking around the forums and I was like, oh my gosh, there are like other people out there who like bonkles. And it's like, I was homeschooled growing up, so I didn't have the most greatly abundant amount of, friends. I didn't have the biggest social circle, but I have no complaints about that.
Right.
But, so it was weird for me. It's like, I don't really have anyone to talk to about Bionicle.
Yeah.
Here is a whole bunch of people on the internet who like to talk about it, like, all day long.
Right.
Whee!
It's a dream come true!
Dream come true! So I got active, most especially, the first place I was really active was Matoran Unknu, however that name's pronounced, is Matanui Online Game Style Character Creation Kit.
Yeah.
And from there, I flew comics, being pretty much the only name in the game for Monocle-style comics. Began losing interest in the site, and then Ridos was kind of like, Black Six comes along and says, hey, you want to be staff? And I was like,
Okay. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, sure, now I'm going to leave.
Yeah, sure, bye. So how...
You'll never know me from any of the other staff members not doing anything.
Again, the members are not supposed to know that.
Just bleep that out or something.
So how's it been then to transition from just a BZP member to a staff member, and to a staff member on the blogs?
That was the thing that struck me most odd. I mean, first of all, Black Six had a way of asking people to be staff that made you panic, think you're about to get banned or suspended or something.
Yep.
Then he pulls the bait and switch at the end where he's like, we just want you to be a staff member. Darn near had a heart attack. But the thing that most struck me odd about it was that he asked if I wanted to be blog staff.
Right.
At that point, I had only recently discovered, oh wow, like blogs are actually a thing, and it's like an active part of the site. It's almost like its own separate entity from the forums.
Yeah.
But I never spent any time there.
So you're just kind of thrown in there?
Yeah. So it's like everything I had done had pretty much been a new member Q&A.
Right.
And I never expected to become staff.
Yeah.
But imagined that if I had become staff, I would become like, a 4. I would start like at the base. But did they have 4 mentors at that time?
I think so, right? I think so. I think they were still around.
Yeah, they did because Turakai was a 4 mentor.
Okay.
And she was staff before I was.
Right.
So I figured I would at the very least, start somewhere like that. I mean, new member Q&A, helping people figure out the place. What do the 4 mentors do? Help out new people.
Right.
But no, they staff, blog staff. I was like,
Hmm?
Sure, why not?
Right.
So that was very interesting.
Yeah. But hey, it happened, and you're still here.
Wait a minute. Let me retract a previous statement.
Okay.
I did know the blogs were a thing at that point because I had a blog.
Aha!
I had finally sprung for lifetime premier membership.
The culprit explains himself.
So I was in the blogs, but I was never doing really much of anything helpful in the blogs.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Back in the day, who was really doing much to be helpful in the blogs when they didn't have a working report button? You had to send an email to the blog alert email, and the blog staff had to log into the email. It was a mess.
Back in my day, we didn't have a report button in the blog.
Back in my days, you had to go to your email client, type up what you wanted to report, and include a link to it so that the other people on the other end could then log into the email client and look at the email and go back to BZP and find the problem, and then they would... Hell.
Only true 90s kids will remember.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, no, let's leave that area for another nostalgia time.
I am technically an 80s kid.
Oh.
I was an 80s kid for a day and a half.
Okay.
I was born December 30th of 1989.
Wow, you were cutting it close, Tech.
I was cutting it close.
Very close.
Very close.
And yet here you still are, member of both worlds. Again, you're still the Avatar.
I was shooting for Christmas so I could just get the most presents on one day.
That's a good point.
Everyone sit around a Christmas tree. It's like, hey, why don't I get this many presents when he gets twice as many? Birthday.
That's true. My birthday, though, is in June 7th, so that means that I get presents in June and presents in December. So I get, every...
It's kind of nice, because you get an even spread. My birthday is right between Christmas and New Year's. So not only do I get all my presents at once and then not get anything for pretty much the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But my birthday's right between Christmas and New Year's.
So everyone's already festive
Everyone's coming down off of Christmas and trying to get ready for New Year. Nobody wants to deal with a lot. You don't want to throw a birthday in there to worry about too.
I'll celebrate a birthday
my birthday doesn't tend to be too extravagant most years, but it's okay.
I'll celebrate a birthday with you someday, Takuma.
Cool. When are you coming to Minnesota?
Soon? I know some Minnesotan people aside from you, so I definitely should at some point. I actually do, though. I have a lot of new friends that are from Minnesota, and now I'll go and visit.
I have a lot of enemies from Minnesota.
Oh, well, again, you don't have friends, only enemies you haven't killed yet. What? BIONICLE books!
you gotta say that key word so that we make sure we don't lose people's interest.
That's a very good point. Yeah, Bionicle. It's like subliminal messaging. So we're gonna talk about Bionicle, that new thing.
It must be bought. Buy it all. It must be bought.
Haha, very good Bo Rock reference. Speaking of Bionicle, let's see how the set is going now.
I've done too much talking.
Sounds about right. It's okay. This is a good check for us to be like, hey, Takuma, you gotta build.
There's the piece I was looking for.
Haha.
I hate sorting pieces before I build.
Yeah.
I sorted them a little just to appease Black 6 because I know he wants us to sort, but I hate sorting.
Yeah.
For me, building a set is kind of like a puzzle.
Uh-huh.
And if you get too organized beforehand, you take all the fun out of it.
Yeah, it's the sorting scary skeletons. Second one for the counter right there. Beam! 2. We got 2 going. Let's see how many others we can rack up before the episode ends. That is the second one for the counter.
Exercise started to bowl.
Words.
My exercise bowl. You ever had an exercise bowl? It's like 1
Yep.
and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. I don't seem to lose any weight though.
Sounds about right for exercise. So, now that we've checked in with the set, we will go to another question from the audience. I know, right? More than one.
There's way more than last time. Where there's only one.
Just the one. And speaking of that only one, we're actually going to go to that question. So thank you so much to Nessent for giving us in February the only question we had at the time, but also thank you to all the others.
You the real MVP.
So Nessent asks, any interesting stories about modding on the blogs?
Interesting stories.
Yes.
Sure.
Let's hear it.
Stories that I can or will tell? Not so much.
Aha, there's the key.
That's the thing about moderating. It's like the only interesting things that happen are the things where you actually have to do your job.
Right.
And the kind of the thing about being a moderator is you can only do 2 things.
Right.
One, help somebody out.
Yeah.
Who just doesn't know how something works. Or 2, discipline somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds bad, but it's not like disciplining somebody has to be like.
Right. It's just being like,
disciplining
hey.
somebody could just be like, hey, just so you know, you can't double comment, you know.
Yeah.
Or you can't make the first comment on your own blog entry.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that.
I mean, that's not anything. That's not a story to tell. But it's like when it actually does get interesting, it's not really the kind of things you want to relate. And quite honestly, I don't remember any right now. Anyway.
Yeah. So what you're saying is basically.
I can remember interesting things happening in the blogs, but just not that had to do with me moderating them so much.
Yeah. So
there is one.
Oh.
Not gonna tell that story.
Aw. Man, sorry, audience.
But it's the nature of the beast.
Wait, what about the beast below? So I was trying to make a bad Bionicle reference. I don't know which one though. There's a lot of years. So tying into the blogs, then you kind of gave us a taste of what it means to, a day in the life of a blog assistant. Anything else you would have liked to add about that, about what it means to be a blog assistant, or?
You often hear the staff say things like, don't be too anxious to become a staff member yourself, because it sounds like a glorious gig until you actually get into it, and then you realize, it's a lot of stress and heartache and such and so. And when you're on the other side of it, you're like, yeah, I can see how that'd be true, but you really don't know it until you actually do it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of days where it just feels like, I can't remember what the expression actually is, so I'm going to go with walking on grenades.
Okay.
I don't remember what it is. Walking on glass? Walking on eggshells.
Eggshells, there we go.
Eggshells. I'm going to go with grenades because that sounds cooler.
So you're walking on Dr. Robotnik? And third one.
I don't feel like wasting time actually leaving the camera, so I'm just going to do that.
It's okay. Yeah, you did the symbolic gesture, and that's all that matters to me.
I made myself clear.
Aha. So, yeah, walking on grenades. How so? Ooh. Wow, look at those functions.
I gotta say, the creatures are pretty darn cool.
They are pretty cool.
Although, Melum and what's the creature of Earth?
Malum?
It's is it Ket? No, it's Tarak. Ketar's the one that sucked.
Oh. Oh.
Much as I like him,
Yeah.
there's no denying he's not a very good set. I mean, the weird tail thing.
Yeah.
But where was I going with this?
You're talking about the creatures and the Earth one, right?
Yeah. Didn't you have a question?
Oh, the walking on grenades as a blog assistant.
Ah, yes.
It's actually part of the initiating ritual. You either get to choose eggshells, glass, or grenades.
I chose grenades because, unlike the other two, they are not guaranteed to break.
Aha! I thought you were gonna say it was because cool guys don't look at explosions.
Who came up with that rule? That's a silly rule.
Oh, there's a whole song about that.
Yeah, but what's the? I mean,
now we're getting into the.
Imagine how that guy looks if they walk away and no explosion happens. Then they just look foolish.
No, then you superimpose it in post.
You need to be able to turn. You need to be able to judge the explosion, so you can be like, okay, next time if I want to look really cool.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I could see that logic. I could see that logic.
It's like the people who go and do something and people criticize them, and then you're like, you can't criticize me. I'm perfect.
I could see that logic floating through. I can see that.
I'm just gonna pretend that's the legit answer.
So walking on grenades as a blog assistant, how so? And in terms of like how people like say they want to be staff, but
as soon as you're in the quote unquote public eye, I mean, you have to be extra super careful of what you say.
Right.
Because people will twist or misunderstand your words.
Yeah.
They will put a lot more weight on them. You know, it's one thing if some random punk tells somebody off, but if it's staff telling somebody off, you know, if you don't conduct yourself in the right manner, I mean, the pitchforks are gonna come out.
Yeah.
You have to be constantly on your guard against doing anything that could come back to bite you.
Right.
You know? It's just, you have that extra responsibility.
Right.
No, I'm not going to quote Spider-Man.
But with great power comes great...
True.
Yeah.
I actually did a whole entry once, long time ago, about not great power and responsibility, but rather influence. And realizing how influential you can be and are, and respecting that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because if you're just some random member on the boards, and you say something, it's not really going to affect something. You're some sort of staff member, you say something, well, you're going to have people invested in what you say.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want is to wind up with an unwanted army with a personal vendetta against somebody.
Yeah.
That has never happened to me personally, but I've seen it happen in other places.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And it's definitely scary to I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, they wait so much with a lot of people, is because you have to realize that it's not just getting to be helpful in a community. It's having that label of staff, which, like it or not, carries that sense of influence with it.
Yeah, it's not, you can't just, not that I've ever been part of the selection process.
Right.
But I imagine it's like, okay, we can't just pick somebody who's helpful. We need to pick somebody who we know isn't going to mess things up with their big mouth.
Right. Which is not to say that they like only choose people they know, but it's that you definitely have to consider, you know, people might have good qualities on the forums, but does that translate to treating others with respect? Does that translate to realizing the responsibility bestowed upon them? Yeah.
You can know the rules backwards and forwards, but if you don't know how to relay them the right way, you're not going to do any good. This is the most anxious part I have come to with the Uniter.
Let's see it. How are we doing with the Uniter?
It's this piece right here.
Oh boy.
Will it squeak? That is the question.
Will it squeak?
I have heard, because, I mean, I don't know if you put many of these together yourself.
Not yet. I haven't gotten any of the 2016 sets yet. I am ashamed.
So there's this thing where when you put these two pieces together, it's kind of like with the stud shooter or the old brain stocks.
Right.
Put it together, it's not coming apart. At least not in any meaningfully easy way.
Right.
And the thing is that sometimes when you put these together and you do the rotating, whatever you want to call it, function, they get this nasty kind of grinding, squeaky sound to them, and it just sounds like the pieces are getting ruined. Some of the sets I put together have not had this problem. Like, I didn't have that problem with Umarak or Pohatu. Tahu, yeah, he squeaks. And I've heard people say different things, like you need to lube up one of the pieces with some sort of lubricant or even spit, or just wash them off.
Right.
The funny thing is, when I tried that with Tahu, that's when it got squeaky.
Oh.
So at this point, I'm just gonna say RNG. Well, okay, actually, it's not RNG because there's no random number being generated, but I'm gonna say luck of the draw.
Okay.
Click.
Let's find out.
I don't hear a lot of anything right now, but we'll see once we actually start putting weight on them.
We'll find out. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that's
one con about the new sets. As cool as they are.
Update on the building. Yeah. So we've talked about Lego, being a Lego fan. We've talked about BIONICLE, BZPower, Blog Assistant. But we did kind of tease being part of another BIONICLE community in TTV.
Are we talking about the comics forum now?
Oh, we can talk about that as well, because I definitely want to touch on. I definitely want to touch on.
You're leading this interview.
Am I though?
Food. When do we eat?
Oh, true. Because I do want to touch on a little bit on Steak Boy and those kinds of things. But before yeah, Steak Boy, you can't outrun that. So
I don't want to.
That's true. It is a pretty great character. Not gonna lie.
Hey, when other people
Yeah.
are writing stories about your OCs,
that's how you know you've done things right. So actually, before we get into the TTV thing, because it ties into the other question I was gonna ask, tell us about Steak Boy.
So, as I mentioned, I got my start in the Monocle style comics, and then from there I jumped into comics and comedies.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was just making random characters with the character creation kit,
right,
I put together one Pomatoran. It was like an 03 style Matoran with a great Ruru. Which, for those of you who are not that savvy on your technical terms, that is Toa Wenua's mask.
Yep.
And after I made him, I just looked at him, and I've always had this thing. I've always liked coming up with Bionicle-sounding names.
Right.
I mean, you look at all my other comic characters, and you have Tirvon, Zarna, I can't remember that one's name. I can't remember my own character's name.
Batman.
What? No. Anyways, really strong sounding, Bionicle sounding names. But before that, there was this Pomatoran character that I just randomly, made in Paint.
Right.
When I was using Paint instead of Photoshop. Oh man, Photoshop made those things so much easier. But I just looked at him and I was like, the way his mask looks.
Yeah.
Because I gave him there wasn't an actual set where the great masks from the Metro Nui era had that sort of silver melding, marbling, whatever you want to call it, like the Matoran characters did.
Right.
But Matoran Antu still made those style in the kit.
Yeah.
And so I gave him one of those, but I changed the silver part just into like another shade of like a tanner brown. And I looked at it, I was like, it kind of reminds me of the marbling in a steak. So I was like, okay, this character's name's Steak Boy. And I thought, at that time, I thought that would be the end of it. I never thought I'd actually do anything with it. But then when I actually started making my comics, he kind of became like the most iconic character from there.
Yeah. So you would say that the name stuck, or because it was in the past sense, it's Steak. No words. Is that
Are
the
you
fourth?
quite finished?
Is that the fourth one now?
I think it's only the third one.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Get good.
Get good.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, he became an iconic character in my comics, which you see all kinds of other comics, especially in the comics forum. Pretty much every series had some sort of character that was obsessed with food.
Right.
But I feel like Steak Boy, it wasn't like his only shtick.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff he had to do with eating and with food. But I feel like there was something different. Like he had more character to them than a lot of these other, food-focused characters.
Right.
I think it kind of had to come down to his charm and just the way he looked at the world.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just me being biased because he's my character, not someone else's. But that's just kind of the way I felt about him.
Yeah.
And so going forward, I started writing comedies, and really there are two things that really stuck out for me, and the reason why there are a few people who will attest to the fact that for a little while I was kind of, one of the kings of the comedy forum.
Right.
Those two series where the Steak Boy buys insert something here.
Yeah.
Where those were just one-off short stories that just kind of ran in a series. And then there was the sort of the epic comedy.
Right.
Which had multiple episodes called Toastbusters.
Not related to the reboot.
No. What reboot?
Ghostbusters reboot.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is back before there was any inkling of a reboot.
Or maybe you're a time traveler who just knew this information.
Oh, my cover.
Look, all... Yeah.
But, whereas the Steak Boy Buys a series, it was all the same characters in my comics and everything, and the only real difference between the two was that my comics mostly took place on the island of Matanui and were all BIONICLE eyes. The Steak Boy Buys a such and so took place in the human world and dealt with, and actually had human people in it. But what then set Toastbusters apart was that it was Steak Boy and other members of the BZPower community. Specifically, the main cast was Steak Boy, and then Gerlicke.
Yep.
Squiggly, Toa Lisovic Squiggly.
Yeah.
And Seitogo, or as he goes by now, Seitogo Toe of Steelers.
Right.
And they had their it was basically... it started out as almost like a spoof of Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Actually, it really came off of the original Steak Boy Buys a such-and-so comedy, Steak Boy Buys a Car.
Right.
It was actually... Okay, yeah, I said the Steak Boy Buys a series didn't have, the members and other stuff. The original Steak Boy Buys a Car did.
Yeah.
After that, it was all just comic characters. But that first one started with these other people, and I was like, okay, we're going to take this a step further.
Yeah.
The car became like Kit from Knight Rider.
Okay.
Except instead of the Knight Industries 3000, it was Stud, a.k.a. Seitogo's totally uber device.
Haha.
Fun fact, at the time, my favorite car was the Mustang GT Shelby 500, something or other. When the actual Knight Rider reboot came out on television years later, that is the car they chose for Kit. I am not saying I am a time traveler.
But you are a time traveler.
I am just not saying I'm a time traveler.
You're just leaving it at that. You're just saying, I'm not saying I'm not a time traveler.
I am not going to say I'm a time traveler. Beyond that...
You're up to your own.
Yeah.
Solid. So how is the set going now?
I pinched my thumb just now.
Oh no, thumb.
You had to ask, and now it's... I've got this OCD thing where, like, the axles always have to be perfectly this way. Or, like, if it has the Lego logo on a couple pieces, they have to be facing the same direction.
Right.
So now I've got this problem with this gray axle right here.
Oh.
It's slightly off kilter.
Oh,
yeah. I can't move it with my fingers enough.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist.
Right. It's okay. We got time to fix this. We can do this.
Yeah, but do you have questions for that amount of time?
Yep. It's okay. You've almost got it.
Remember when these hand pieces were different?
Yeah, they had little holes in there.
The slots on the side.
Yeah, and then they were lime green and they broke.
Interesting story, actually, about those pieces.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this in the last time when we didn't do this interview before, totally.
Right.
But I remember there being somebody in the blogs posted an entry where they put up like a screenshot of a set.
Yeah.
or not a screenshot of a set, but a screenshot from the instructions for a set, and it had you put together some Lego pieces in such a way. I believe technically they were Technic pieces, but the instructions wanted you to put them together in such a way that literally, by any conventional means, it would be impossible to take them apart from each other again.
Yeah.
I can't remember what pieces they were or how they were put together.
Yeah.
But literally, they wanted you to put this set together in a way that you could not get the pieces apart again.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about brain stocks or, this thing where technically if you pinch a certain way, no.
Yeah.
Never take those. Completely defeating the point of Lego. I actually once managed to take, 4 of these pieces and 4 of these, 2-length studs, and I was just kind of like, oh, what if I make this sort of circular, I was just kind of being all artistic. It's like, oh, you can, put them in array them in, a square, star shape, whatever.
Yep.
And once I put it together, I realized, oh, crud. I can't get this thing apart now.
Oh, no.
There's no way I could get this thing apart. Eventually, I did. But in order to do so, I had to damage pieces. What I had to do was I had to take a knife, not this one, much smaller one.
Right.
And I actually had to stick the end of the knife into those grooves that were in these pieces and use it to force the axle back out. I actually had to dig into the side of an axle piece so that I could force it back out.
Yep.
I never made such a stupid mistake again in my life.
Sounds about right. We've all had those mistakes where we're like, why did I do that? What was I thinking?
This is why Takuma doesn't mock.
Yeah.
Also, it's because I just don't have many good ideas.
Oh, hey, but you put all those ideas into comics and other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking.
But if I do go to Brick Fair this coming year, I will be bringing a mock. I don't care if it's terrible and the worst one you ever saw. I will be bringing something to display this time.
Yep.
I'm not going to keep going as an exhibitor with nothing to exhibit.
Yep. Now, speaking, though, of creativity and comics and alliteration, even though that one didn't have a C, we teased a little bit of your TTV existence as a staff member, or as a cast member, sorry.
Yep.
But you also create content for them. Do you want to tell us specifically what kind of content you create and how that ties into you as a BIONICLE fan?
So, interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, when I felt like I was spinning my wheels and hating my life because I felt I was going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I finally okay, you know what? I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. I can't spend the rest of my life just working in a fast food restaurant flipping burgers, even though at the time I really liked it. And so I actually took a career exploration course at a college. It was just a single college course. It took place one night a week, and it didn't actually count for any credits.
Yeah.
But I took it, and after that I was like, okay, you know what? I know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into radio.
Okay.
I was like, cool, I have a direction for my life now. I'm going to be a radio personality or DJ, something to do with broadcasting.
Right.
Well, I now have a job in IT management with an emphasis in web design and development.
Okay.
So clearly that was not the direction I chose. But pretty much the reason I didn't go with my original dream, as it were, is because when you look at the way technology is going and just the radio industry is going, there's a lot of consolidation.
Yeah.
It's just not an easy field to get into. And even if you do get into it, you're starting rock bottom, making very little money, and it wasn't the kind of thing I wanted to get into. I wasn't that passionate about getting into radio where I wanted to, I was not going to be a starving artist, as it were.
Right. I feel.
But I've still always had that love for talking and discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you've heard of I always get the name mixed up. It's like the Clifton Strengths Finder Strengths Quest.
Oh yeah, the testing. Yeah.
It's actually a really great thing. It beats like any Myers-Briggs or anything like that. So long as you know how to read it. I actually I took a college course on pretty much that whole test. Yeah. And it feels strange to say this, but that one college course literally changed the way I look at life.
Right.
But
because it helps you. It helps you think about who you are as a person.
Okay, now that I know my top 5 strengths are belief, responsibility, communication, individualism, and individualization and deliberative.
Right.
I like, okay, now I know why I think the way I do, why I do these things, and I know why other people with these traits do these things.
Yeah.
Which ties into another one of my traits, but this is not the let's talk about Takuma Nuva's strengths interview.
Right.
So yeah, communication, my number 3 strength. I love discussion, and specifically for me, I love telling stories and entertaining people with my words.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why I was in comics and comedies in the first place. So no, I wasn't in radio, but the TTV guys were looking for a new cast member.
Right.
And at that point, I had already kind of reconnected with them. We kind of knew each other from back in the comic days of BZPower.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd already kind of started talking to them, and we were playing Dota together on a few nights, and they're like, we need a new person. I was like, hey, what about me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Why
not
not
in radio
Zoidberg?
I'm not in radio broadcasting, but I get those kicks
Right.
by doing the podcast.
Right.
So pretty much every week I'm on our main show is the podcast where every week we get on for an hour. We talk about news if there is any, and if not, we talk about stupid things like whether or not it is possible to 3D print a banana.
Sounds about right.
And the theological implications of that. Yes, theological.
Like for Theo?
We had to explain to somebody that theological has to do with religion and belief systems and not theories.
Oh, but I thought it had to do with Theo, like Theo Van Gogh.
No, it does not.
Well, I'm sure it must have been an interesting conversation.
But aside from that, we do other series where we have like our non-Lego section, which is TV Talks, where we talk about pretty much anything non-Lego.
Yeah.
We did a 2-parter on relationships.
Right.
We talked about video game pre-orders.
Right.
Usually if there's like some big movie that comes out, we'll talk about that.
Right.
So that's where I get a lot of those kicks. Also, until I get an actual web development job, I do work on the website, and we actually just launched a completely new website. It looks very pretty.
Looks really nice, so kudos to you, sir, because it looks fantabulous.
Yay!
Woo!
Yeah, we have other projects going forward that I'm really excited about, but can't talk about them.
Right.
We've learned the hard way, do not talk about a project you intend to do until you're actually ready to release it.
Right.
Because you will hear forever, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? When is it coming out?
Yep.
And then you wind up with something that's like with BioCraft.
Yeah.
BioCraft has pretty much gone the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah. Expectations built up high, and yeah.
I mean, way before I was part of TTV, that got on the front page of BZP. This was back when, back in the day where you couldn't even mention YouTube on BZPower.
Yeah.
So the fact that a YouTube channel was getting mentioned on the front page of BZP, big news.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing a BIONICLE Minecraft machinima.
Yeah.
Well, now we're not, because Minecraft is incredibly hard to work with, and will continue to be so until we get like an actual mod API.
Yeah.
Minecraft 1.9 just came out. No mod API.
Yeah.
So,
Notch, get on that.
If you ever intend to have some sort of big project or something, don't tell people about it until you actually.
It's like have actual finished products, at least a few episodes or content to share before. Yeah.
It's like at least you and I with the Rock Raiders thing. Why can I not find this piece? We made sure to have a few episodes under our belt before we got going with the Rock Raiders thing, but still life happened, and that is stuck in limbo.
Yeah, but at least you put some episodes out there, which is the important part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So speaking of, mentioning peace, where are you right?
No wonder I can't find that piece.
Why?
Because it's not in that set. I'm supposed to be looking for a different piece.
Being a BIONICLE fan.
But the one that was like a full length or whatever you want.
Yeah, the full.
I want this piece.
Aha! There you go. How's the set going so far? Are you still in the creature or?
No, I was done with the creature a while
cool.
ago. Did I ever show that finish?
I don't think so. Let's see. Ooh.
I'm not sure why this function makes sense. I mean, it's not like they're wings. That made sense with Akir because they were wings, but these are like claws or something. I don't know.
I guess we'll find out when the series hits Netflix.
Yes. Wait a minute. Isn't that
today?
I mean, is it today? I thought it was tomorrow.
I think it's March 4th, or the 5th.
I'm pretty sure it's March 4th. So the question is,
if
that's out at midnight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. we're dating ourselves here. We're recording on
the March
the 3rd
4th.
of March.
Yeah. Well, 3rd for you. It's 4th for me.
It could conceivably be in like as little as 20 minutes.
Oh, so you're telling me that I have to stop recording this 43 minutes ago and start watching? No, just kidding. I would not quit a conversation with you, Takuma.
It could very well be tonight at some point.
Very
if you wanted to stay up late and watch it, which if it is, I just might do.
Yeah.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Yeah.
I am so super stoked for...
Almost had it. Almost had it.
You see, the thing is, I started building one leg.
Right.
Before I even finished the instructions for building one leg, I started on the other.
Right.
Why do I do this to myself?
Because if you did things the easy way, they wouldn't be story-worthy.
Just call me...
Al.
I was going to say Emmett from the Lego movie, but he's the one who wants to use instructions, so call me anyone but Emmett from the Lego movie.
Okay, anyone but Emmett, but from the Lego movie?
Or maybe it's just, I'm just a stereotypical guy that don't need no instructions. Really though, I love my instructions.
Yeah, no, instructions are good. Sometimes you need them. Not going overboard like
a shed.
That's a very no, yeah. Don't go overboard like Emmett, but yeah, use instructions here and there. So, we've talked then TTV, BZP, Bionicle, and Lego fandom. You know what? Let's go into some fan questions because we have a few extra more actually.
Oh, keep them coming.
I know.
Saying that here actually does any good.
Here's one from our dear friend Sumiki.
Oh boy.
I know. You will never guess.
Sumiki.
You will never guess.
Story about when I first met Sumiki.
Let's hear it.
When I went to Brick Fair, but I didn't know what he looked like. He didn't know what I looked like. So I was like, okay, how am I gonna find this guy in all this mess? And I was like, so AT and I showed up right as Bingo Grande was ending on the first night. I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do.
Yep.
I'm gonna build my brick badge. I'm gonna put it on. And since Bingo Grande's ending, I'm just gonna stand by where everybody puts their cards away.
Right.
And then hope that somebody looks at my name tag and notices it's me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you know it, the first person to notice was Sumiki.
Aha.
And he did a song and dance.
Yep.
Although, when he first saw me, he's like, oh, crud, I don't have Zatth with me, so he can't do the kazoo.
Oh, that's true. And
but
then
you guys did it for me later.
We did, and we recorded it, because, you know. So, yes, his question, and I'm gonna just read his Twitter handle, because that's where he asked. Captain Subnuki asked on Twitter, Captain Subnuki, he asked, Takuma, do you dream about farm animals?
I can't say... no, I can't say that I dream too much about farm animals, but I haven't had it for a while, but I used to have this recurring dream...
Of Sumiki?
About... No. This is way before I even knew Sumiki was a person.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
I still don't know that he was a person. This is way before
that's a good point.
I used to have this recurring nightmare
when
I was young about a three-headed bear. I don't know why, but when I was young, I was terrified of bears. I'd had all kinds of nightmares about bears, and specifically, there was this three-headed bear that kept popping up in my dreams, even though I never actually saw it, so I don't know how I would know it had three heads.
Right.
But that's dreams for you.
Yeah, dreams, who knows them.
I imagine at some point I have had a dream where there was a cow or a sheep or a chicken somewhere.
Yeah.
And really, if you want to get down to it, snakes, people, I mean, just like snakes, people harvest venom from snakes for like medicines and stuff. Does the snake count as a farm animal?
Yep.
I don't know.
Maybe we can make it work, right? I'm sure there's some farms that like have
snakes. So
I'm sure some farms have snakes somewhere in there, maybe.
But does it count as a farm animal?
We can make.
I want to have a detailed description of what does or does not count as a farm animal.
Do you hear that, audience?
Is it enough that it is on a farm? Does it have to be harvested? Or have some sort of production value? Does it have to be like a stereotypical farm, old MacDonald? Can it be like a yak farm?
I just realized that if you change the order of the words, you could be asking, do you dream about Animal Farm? The book by George Orwell? Okay, that's the lit major in me talking, sorry.
I've not heard of this book?
I've heard of this book you speak of.
Is
Haha.
food?
Food. So, how are we doing with...
Squat reference for anyone who knows that. Spoiler alert, not enough people.
How are we doing with Kopaka then?
I am building something. I mean,
Okay. Let's see.
he doesn't have a good head on his shoulders yet. But,
What about head and shoulders?
well, I've got the knees and toes.
Songs.
Ding! Put one on this side for me.
So, because it looks like the set's
I'm
gonna be...
doing disco.
Very good. Because it looks like the set's gonna be finished pretty soon. Let's go to another question from Avoca Tamer.
Yay!
A.T. who asks us... hold on, I have to pull up the question. This is embarrassing. I'm not well prepared. Here it is. So, Takuma, if you were stranded on a desert island filled with nothing but Lego Galador sets, would you attempt to build them into a raft, or just chuck them into the ocean in abject horror?
If I were king of the forest... No. If I was on a desert island with nothing but Galador parts,
Yeah.
I'd try to build them into a raft, or would I just tuck them into the sea in, what was it?
In abject horror.
Abject horror. I like that.
Right? That was very, very, like,
I like
vivid.
that word. That phrase. Here's the thing about Galador.
Okay.
How could you even try to build a raft out of those?
Hey, we
Like,
made some very creative
wait,
Galador
Galador
mocks
is-
at Brick Fair.
When you buy a keg powerizer, and it literally says in the instructions that you should not ever combine it with regular Lego pieces.
That's how you know that it's
Is
special.
building a raft even an option? Do
Tak-
not combine this set with any other sets. It's
Takuma,
kind of the whole point of Lego.
Takuma is getting deep with us tonight.
You know what else is deep? That person, whoever came up with that idea, is in deep trouble.
Like, Deep Blue... Wait, no, not... Deep Blue's not at the computer, right?
Huh?
The super smart computer that beat, like, whoever it was in chess. Deep Blue,
Are we
right?
talking about war games? Because I haven't
No,
seen
and they, like, built it, I think, in the 80s or the 90s, this, like, really advanced computer that beat, like, a world-reigning champion in chess. And so it was, like, the first time that a computer did that. And then the computer got featured in an episode of Futurama where Fry gets tagged along with Uhura from Star Trek, Gary Gygax, and this computer. And I think Al Gore as well was there. Maybe?
I'm not aware of this phenomenon.
Phenomena. Ba-ba-ba-da-da. Phenomena. Ba-ba-da-ba.
Did you ever see the music video where they took that song and they put in a bunch of Star Wars clips?
I did not. They did
I'm
that?
gonna just show it to you. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's-
funny because usually every time it's like they show Darth Vader on screen because he's got like the mask and stuff, so it's kind of like.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's so good.
I will show it to you after this.
I would love that quite a lot.
It actually got taken down from YouTube for a while,
Oh, wow.
but then it made its way back. So
Jim Henson didn't want Star Wars to be tainted by the Mana, but then YouTube spoke otherwise.
I guess so.
How is Kopaka doing so far?
I have no idea what I'm building. What on earth is this going to be?
Let's find out! Do you have any stories to regale us with from going to conventions?
Going to conventions. Well, the only convention I have been to thus far is Brick Fair.
Okay. What's your verdict?
I mean, if you read State Boy Goes to Brick Fair,
That's
that pretty much sums it up.
That's pretty good. That's all we need to know. That was also a very good shameless plug put in there. Almost didn't notice it.
No, I mean, gosh. Actually, I do have a good story.
Yeah, okay.
It was the first time when I went with my cousin.
Uh-huh.
Remember him?
Yes.
Swell guy.
He won the giant set at the raffle.
Yeah, he won the
Minister.
Helm's Deep
Oh, Helm's
set.
Deep, that's what it was.
I got to help him build that. That was fun.
Yeah, you got to build the Home Depot set. Get it? Because Helm's Deep, Home
Yeah,
Depot.
I got it.
And then you go to the mountain of Mario Tennis. And fifth one.
It is funny that you mentioned Home Depot, though, because his favorite NASCAR driver, at least at the time, was Tony Stewart, who was sponsored by Home Depot.
Oh, I thought he was sponsored by Helm's Deep.
No, shush.
But yeah, so Brick Fair.
But, so, laser tag.
Yes, oh yes.
Boy, were my legs sore after running around in a crouched position so much.
Oh yes.
I actually do remember when it was, they had the round where it was like, you shoot a gem on the wall to change your team color.
Yep.
But everyone was like always being the same color, so they didn't know when to shoot it. So the guy's like, okay, forget this. It's going to be a free for all. And I remember you and I were like right next to each other.
Yep.
And I don't know, we just had this moment where we just turned to each other and we're like, let's team up. Team. And we just sat there, just covered each other's back.
It was fantastic.
It was amazing. It was a blast of a time. But the actual story I wanted to get to was not about us. It was about my cousin.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, he was building an arm.
Oh.
I put a piece on backwards. So, that game we played.
Yeah.
What is the age minimum to get into that place? Wasn't it like at least 6 years old?
I think so, because there was that one kid. Stop shooting me!
Yeah. Or, who's shooting me? Who's shooting? I mean, yeah, I cannot... You are not going to get me to believe that there was nobody under the age of 6 in that group.
Yeah. Well, maybe me, because I was shaven at the time.
But anyway, so we're in there with all these little kids.
And
my cousin is a tall guy.
Right.
Like, super tall guy.
Is he a fun guy? Like fungus?
Yeah, I got it. Shush. Stop. Stop. Why must you do this to me?
Why must you hurt me so, Zatth?
Anyway, so he was standing on the upper level for one of the matches.
Right.
Which he decided not to do because even the tallest of, like, the walls was still too short for him.
Right.
But while he was there, he was kind of in a corner by one of the ramps where the actual tall walls are. And this little kid... Hold on a second, I want to make sure I built this right.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. This little kid comes just buzzing around a corner, really super fast, not really looking where he was going. Well, my cousin's standing right there, and in order to lean up against the wall, he had to put his back to it.
Right.
In order to, kind of be short enough, he had to put his legs out in front of him.
Oh,
so
no.
They were kind of sticking out across the, the pathway.
Oh, no.
So wide. This kid comes buzzing around the corner, trips over my cousin's legs, and he just goes on his side, going down the ramp. The thing is that these ramps, if you remember, they kind of go down halfway.
Yep.
And then they turn a little bit.
Yep.
And then they start going.
Yep.
Well, he was going so fast, it was like, he just kind of bounces, just kind of ricochets off the wall, goes down the second, gets to the bottom, just winds up on his back.
Oh my gosh.
So far as I know, the kid was okay.
Okay.
The kid lived. But,
But now for some reason he has an irrational fear of your cousin.
Alas, poor Kopaka.
I knew him well, Horatio.
It's not I knew him well. There's no well in there.
Of course there is.
No.
Where do you think Shakespeare got his ideas from? The well of knowledge.
Shut up.
It's also, because here's the thing, if you change one letter in his name, he goes from will to well.
Shush.
So maybe it could have been, I know him Will, Horatio. His original last name was Shakespeare.
It actually reminds me of something I found out recently on Vsauce. Are you familiar with the Vsauce?
Yes.
Anyone who doesn't watch Vsauce really should, because it's a great place to learn all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But in a recent episode, I think it was Math Magic or something, he started out talking about Shakespeare.
Right.
And he says if you rearrange the letters in the name Shakespeare, it spells something along the lines of, there was I, like a psalm. And if you go to Psalm 46 in
Yeah.
a specific version of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it the 40? I don't remember if it was Psalm 46. I think it was one of the Psalms.
Right.
You go to the 46th word from the top,
Right.
and it's shake. You go to the 46th word from the bottom, and it's spear.
Aha.
And then there was something else where, like, what was it? I think it was William Shakespeare was 46 when... It wasn't when he died, was it?
Might have been, or when he retired, because he...
It wasn't retirement. It was something to do with, like, where he was age 46 for some significant...
Maybe when his son... Maybe when his son Hamnet died?
The Bible was published. I don't remember. It was just a really crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
How did we get on William Shakespeare? I don't remember.
Just really bad jokes about a will and a well. You know, his wife was called Anne Hathaway. And that's not actually a bad joke. That's actually William Shakespeare's wife was called Anne Hathaway. And you know, when Shakespeare died and he left his last testament to her, Anne Hathaway. Adding that one to the counter right there. There we go. How does Kopaka fare?
I'm building another arm.
Oh. But I thought you already had your 2 arms on, right?
Well, I mean, have you never thought, you know what, if I just had one more arm?
Yeah, actually, that would probably be good to have.
Especially if I ever want to consider becoming a parent someday. I'll need another arm.
That's a very good point. You also need a lot of...
that dads do develop superpowers.
Oh, yeah, they do. Parents have that power somehow.
Some sort of, like, precognitive, whoa!
Yep, they know things, man. It's just like, what?
I can't wait until the day I might get that. But mostly right now, I'm just like, dude, I've got the dad jokes down already.
Oh, dad jokes are great.
Yeah, I've no problem with that.
Yeah, you got that one out.
I'll be the best parent ever, just because I already knew how to do dad jokes.
There we go. You already got that on lockdown.
If only that was how there was to parenting.
That's like the son who walks up to his father with his own newborn and says, "Look, Dad, it's my son. I'm a father." And the father says to the son, with tears in his eyes, "Hi, Father. I'm Grandpa."
I don't know if that is, like, shun-worthy or very touching.
It's both, because it's a dad joke, and dad jokes are terrible, but deep down you're like, okay.
Okay.
The psychology of dad jokes is fascinating.
This one's tolerable. Barely.
Tolerable? Because it's Kopaka?
Is he taller than the rest?
Or if it was the leader of the guard of Takara, it would be Jollerable.
Go to your room and think about what you have done.
You could have been Rahi Bones. Oh, Mask of Light.
Not so sure about the way his arms are attached. It seems kind of...
Let's see. Let's see how he's doing.
I mean, it's like the only thing... I mean, you move his arm around and you can see it kind of like... Because the only thing... It's just like this one piece connecting it.
Yeah.
It seems kind of strange to me.
Interesting.
Maybe
it's for the for the creature?
No, because the creature goes onto the
oh, okay.
Back. So, yeah, this is just a janky way to put the arms on.
Yeah. So, how many pieces do we have left for Kopaka?
Not many. I think all I've got to really do is put on, for the most part, I think it's just putting on the armor.
Okay, so that should be done pretty soon, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so while we do that...
Because I'm doing too much talking, not enough building, we're running out of questions.
It's okay, that's why we have emergency! So, we ask this question usually at the end of the episode, but I'll have you answer it now.
I have that story to tell you, though.
Oh, that's true! No, yeah, that's true. Tell me the facial hair story. Yes.
So, here's the thing.
Okay.
I don't know if this kid recognized me from before I started growing this.
Uh-huh.
Or not. So, I used to work at a restaurant called Culver's.
Right.
It's kind of like an between fast food and a sit-down.
Right.
And I'm taking this drive-through order out.
Yeah.
And so I go out there
Mm-hmm.
with the bag of food,
Right.
and I go up to the car, and it's got the window down. And I hand it to there's this little kid in the back seat. Must be like maybe 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm handing the woman this food,
Yeah.
this kid's in the back seat. The window's down a little bit. He looks at me. He's like, "You have a beard."
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
That just struck me. So I didn't know what to think or
Right.
say. So I just kind of ignored the kid. I was just like, "Well, here you go, ma'am. Here's your food."
Yeah.
I just turned to walk away. As I'm walking away, this kid leans towards the open window, screams at the top of his lungs, "You have a beard!"
Yep.
It's like, I know I do. Why is this the thing? I don't know if like he was somehow recognized me from before when I didn't have it, or what?
It's the power of adulthood, my friend.
Can you imagine just walking along, doing your job, minding your own business, and some kid yells at you, "You have a beard!"
I just like the idea of you just walking around and this kid just deciding that is what he has to scream at the top of lungs.
At the top of his lungs.
That's pretty fantastic, though.
In a similar vein,
yeah.
there's a time later
what about veins?
I have veins in my beard. That's how much I've worked my beard out. I don't know if you can see anything going on there.
That's pretty great.
In a similar vein,
yeah.
There was a time later, it was a couple of years later at least, but I imagine this kid was older than that little kid would have been. So I don't think it was the same person.
Right.
But, so I'm at a register.
Right.
And there's this guy, I'm assuming it was a dad and two of his sons.
Right.
And one of them, while I'm taking the order, he looks at me, he's like, I really like your, I don't know if he said facial hair or beard or mustache, or what was specifically, it might have been just been, I really like your mustache. The exact wording doesn't matter. And I'm just like, thanks? And he's like, no, I really like it. I just look at the kid and I'm like, well, you can't have it.
yeah, he's like, it's already on my face. I can't take it off.
And so you can't have it. He's like, he said something along the lines of, I'll just sneak into your house at night and cut it off.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I just kind of look up at the kid's dad or whatever, and he's like, his dad said something along the lines of, I won't be giving him dessert tonight.
I just like the idea that this one kid's like, oh, you have facial hair? I want it. I can't have it. Okay. Reasonable logic response. I'm just going to go and cut it off your face.
He's like, don't worry, I won't give him dessert tonight for that or something.
That's pretty great. So your beard is in high demand.
I guess so.
That's pretty great.
I mean, I look at it, I was like, maybe I should just give up and shave it off. Because I don't think it's working.
Yep. So, here's the last question then for Meet the Staff as we finish up Kopaka. Any final messages that you want to leave the audience? Either BZP related, LEGO related, BIONICLE related, just you related, anything you want them to know about you, about yourself, any messages you want to impart on this audience listening?
You know, Einstein once said,
okay.
Two things are infinite.
Yes.
The universe and human stupidity.
Aha.
And I'm not sure about the universe.
Sounds about right.
True that is.
Oh, yes. Very true.
I actually have a lot of favorite quotes.
Yeah?
Probably my favorite quote of all, actually, is, the wise man speaks because he has something to say. No, wait. The wise man speaks because he has something to say. The fool speaks because he has to say something.
Aha! Very good.
And now I'm going to have an anxiety attack.
Oh, no. Why?
Stickers.
Oh, we can skip the stickers for now.
I hate stickers. No, it's not canon without stickers.
No, Takuma, please. We have to finish this. Otherwise, the boss man will be after us. No, he won't. But you know who will be after us? Audience members who are like, please.
I want to go home.
Yeah.
I want to be done with this. It's been going on for an hour and 20 minutes. How long does it take to build Kopaka?
It's not a very nice building process. It's the kind of thing where you have to put yourself in to.
You know, every time I have to take off my headphones, you prolong this.
I know, but I just can't help it. I know I have to keep my cool during this interview. Yeah, okay, that wasn't a very chill move. I'm just gonna stop. See, because you know what I mean. I like that the microphone is catching the music right now, so we're just hearing this. I like that the microphone caught all of that, and I would love to make that my ringtone now.
That'd be the most annoying ringtone.
Oh, that's why it would be fantastic.
I mean, you do you. Okay, almost done. I just gotta get the sword. These pieces are dangerously close to being super ropes. They're cool now,
but look,
tell you what,
they're going to be the new they're going to be the new Vaki blade that was on every set, or the Liwa Nuva sword. Let's see how we're doing. Almost there. Aha! There he is.
And no squeaking. So we got lucky. Then, just pop off. The brain stocks seem to work better this time around. They seem to be flicking the masks off with more force. You take this, you separate your legs like that, you tip his head back, you stick them together like this, kind of like the old 08 Batorn and the Fantoka.
And he has the power!
Ta-da!
Oh.
Kopaka Uniter.
Kopaka Uniter.
In Uber form.
Uber! That's pretty great.
Wouldn't it be cool to have a little creature that you could just hop on your back and superpower you?
Right? That would be a lifesaver. It would make life so much easier.
I'll have the anxiety attack with the stickers later.
Yeah, we can avoid that one for now. We want to keep a happy image for now. But yeah, so that means that the set is done, the interview is done, and
if anyone actually made it all the way through this, first of all, you are a trooper. Second of all, what are you doing with your life?
Very true as well. Thank you so much, Takuma Nuva, for joining us for this interview. You know I love talking with you. Oh, we're almost have it.
This little piece needs to go in his eye. He needs to put in his contact lens. There, now he's done.
Aha, there we go. Now he's got the lens.
Now he's done. Man,
so,
can you imagine all the nasty comments I would have got if I didn't finish that?
Oh, yeah. But stickers, we're okay with that. Thank you, Takuma, for joining me. I really hope that you'll be able to make it to Brick Fair. I'll be keeping my fingers crossed. That would be so cool, and it would be amazing.
That would be really cool, because I know there are some people that plan on going to see us.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's see. We're thanking Nescent, Rooster Nui, Avoca Tamer, and Sumiki for sending these questions. So thank you all for those questions. Thank you, audience. You are the real MVPs. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. If you like this episode, please leave comments below. We will be probably posting about the next guest very soon, so also leave questions for that. And as always, subscribe to the BZPower YouTube channel and follow us on bzp.com for some amazing content, news, and really cool people like Takuma over there, who tolerates all of my puns, and he is a trooper for that very much. Thank you so much, BZP, for joining us. This was Zatth.
I'm Takuma Nuva.
That's Takuma Nuva. Bye!
So long.